All right, so guys, this is problem number 3 out of 1.5, and it says a projectile is launched from ground level, with an initial velocity VO feet per second. Neglecting air resistance, its height in feet t seconds after launch is given by, and they give us an equation right here. Okay, it says the first part says find the times the projectile will reach a height of 160, and then b will return to the ground when v0 is equal to 112 feet per second. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that equation they gave me, s equals negative 16t squared plus, you notice they say v0t, but they tell us that v0 is equal to 112, and then there's a t right next to that, right? Okay, so this equation right here, y'all, is what we call our position equation, or it tells us when, this is going to be my height equation, okay? And let's see, and it tells me right here, it's the height in feet t seconds after launch. Okay, so we wanted to figure out when is the height going to reach 160. So now I'm going to put 160 equals negative 16t squared plus 112t. What I'm going to do, y'all, I usually don't like, I usually don't like this guy here to be negative. So I'm going to move both this one and this one to the other side. So when we do that, we're going to get a 16t squared. Now this is going to become a negative 112t. This guy was already on the left side, so that's still positive 160. And now this is equal to 0. Okay, so I'm going to write that same equation. I'm just going to kind of like copy and paste on the next little slide so that I can work this out. So let's see, 16t squared. I think we had a minus 111t, or 112, sorry, t. And then a plus 160 equals 0. So the first thing I'm going to try to do, I don't know if it will work, but I'm going to try to do this, is I'm going to see if I can factor out maybe a 16 out of all of them. I know 16 definitely goes into here, and I know 16 goes into here. I'm not certain if 16 goes into 112. So let's see if that's going to work. So let me clear this out. I'm using my Graphing Calc app, guys. This is it right here. So when I downloaded it a long time ago, if you notice right here, kind of right between my HEB and my Bank of America app, right here in the middle, second row, third column. When I downloaded it, it was Graph, Graf, but now it should be Graph. But if either one, it's the same thing, okay? Anywho, let's take 112, and let's see if we can divide it by 16. Oh, pretty, 7. Okay, so all that means is that we can take a 16 out of here. Now we have a t squared, a minus 7t, 7t, and a plus 10 equals 0. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and factor this part right here. Okay, so remember, I factored that 16 out, okay, so I'm not messing with the 16, but now notice the number in front of the t squared is a 1, so I can use my shortcut, right? 1 times 10 is 10. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 10, but need to add up to a negative 7. 2 and 5 look good, but I need to make them both negative, because a negative 2 times a negative 5 still gives me that positive 10. And when I add them up, I get a minus 7. So I'm going to go ahead and use the shortcut, right? Now remember, the shortcut only works when this guy here is a 1. So my shortcut is going to say, let's just go directly to this part, and then we're just going to use those two numbers, minus 2 and minus 5. So now we're going to set each part equal to 0. And we have three parts. We have the 16, the t minus 2, and the t minus 5. Well, we definitely know that 16 is not equal to 0, so I don't need to worry about that part. When I move that 2 over, that's going to give me t equals positive 2. When I move that 5 over, that's going to give me t equals positive 5. Okay, so if I come back to our equation, or our problem, right? Part A, when is it going to reach 160? We got it right here. So part A, and it says, look, let me clean this mess up a little bit. All right, let's go with blue. It says, use a comma to separate the answers as needed. So right here, I'm just going to enter 2 and 5. No parentheses, nothing like that. Those are just the values, okay? And then there is a second part. This part says, when is it going to return to the ground? Okay, so remember, the equation that we had was s equals negative 16t squared plus 112t. When it reaches the ground, the height is 0, okay? So now this is the equation that I want to solve, okay? Just like I did before, y'all, I don't want this guy here to be negative, so I'm going to move both of them over to the other side. That's going to leave me with a 16t squared, a minus 112t equals 0. From here, we can factor out a 16 and a t, and we're left with t minus 7 equals 0. And then I'm going to set each part equal to 0. 16t equals 0, and t minus 7 equals 0. So let's deal with this one first, because this is probably the easier one. Remember, when I move the 7 over, I'm going to get 7, right? Now this part, I don't want you to disregard it like we did before, because there is a t here. So I'm going to solve this equation, dividing both sides by 16, and we come up with t equals 0. So there's 2 times that it reaches the ground. The first, when we start off, right, because we're shooting this off from ground level, and then the second time is 7 seconds. So when I come back to the question and it says, when is it going to return to the ground? That's going to happen after 7 seconds, okay? So again, this is number 3 out of 1.5. Y'all got any questions? Please let me know.